gentlemen. How good was that? Saturday night is all right, and we are about to have the main event fight. Without further ado, may I please welcome to the ring, fighting out of the red corner. Let's get ready to rumble. Mr. Duncan, the Lion, Kendall, is out of the Scots College corner. He's a Sydney school teacher. It's an exhibition bout, and he's going to have a crack. Here he comes, Duncan. Let's go, the Lion. Here he comes, the red corner.
timing was a bit off, but when I start sparring, I thought it should be all right.
You look like you could still put a light out before it turns dark. I'll tell you what, you're still sharp.
Yeah, no, I try to stay sharp, stay ready. I'll hopefully have a few fights next year and finish up, just try and finish on a high, next year.
Why was it so important for you to take part in this event tonight?
Had a meeting with I just want to give a round of applause to the creator of this, James Dack. Round of applause for Dack. He's stressed over putting this together. He knows how much hard work he goes into promoting now. But it was good for good cause. And my mate Steve Dack, the late Steve Dack, done it for him too. So.
Well, Anthony, thank you very much. You put on a hell of a show. You're an absolute gentleman. Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Duncan the Lionheart, here he is. Who likes the Lionheart, Duncan Kendall? Hey, talk me through it. You've just been in the ring with a world champion.
Well, what's amazing is I remember when he got up in the morning to watch him fight Otki in Germany, and that's when he just won my respect and so on. He was the first Aussie to go over there, and I tell you what, to step in the ring with you, Chop, and you paced me up last Sunday as well, but I tell you what, it's an honour to step in the ring with you, and you're a true gentleman, so thank you, mate.
What about the speed on the bloke? He's in his 40s. He looks like he could still sting, but he's that quick.
Well, I think Australian boxing at the moment with Mundine and Horn and those guys, I can't wait until Mundine is still I love him, and I still think you got left in your chops, so don't give up yet, brother.
Why was tonight so important to you, Duncan? Why did you want to take part in this exhibition bout and jump in the ring?
Just to prove, and boys, you need to listen to this, because it's the reason why we do what a lot we do, and Anthony Mundine is a big part of this with Indigenous youth. It's for education, and without education it can solve so many things: racism, unemployment, drug abuse and everything else. So hopefully Chock and I just showed and raised an awareness through PCYC and Scots College that education's the key to a lot of stuff.
Absolutely well said. Thank you very much. You put on one hell of a show. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Adam Thompson, the club manager, who's going to make a special presentation.
Thank you, Hoops. We're almost at the end of the evening, but as I mentioned at the start of the night, tonight was about showing what we're all about here down at Woolloomooloo, and that's it's about giving and looking after everyone, looking after our family, and these boys, they came down, put on a show for us tonight. They're our family. I've asked Dom Teakle, our CEO, to come up here and help me present a cheque of $10,000 to the Indigenous program at Scots College, to John Carrera and John Semengo.
Can I thank everyone, the sponsors tonight, and well done to Dunk, thank you, and Anthony, thank you for being here tonight. Our aim is that our Indigenous boys, some of you've seen tonight, will stand tall, and thank you for all that you do for the Indigenous boys and girls in our country. It means a lot. They're special to us, and Dunk, well done. Thank you to the boys behind us. And I'll just hand over to Johnny Semengo, who coordinates our Indigenous program. Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that this year, we have sent a lot of our Indigenous boys to overseas trips. RJ went on a trip to Europe only this year, and rugby tours and overseas trips. Now they, this year, amounted to $10,000. So this means that next year, every Indigenous boy that goes on a trip overseas has been funded by tonight. So thank you very, very much. What an amazing night it's been. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's at this point I need to ask a pretty special guy. He's going to be very embarrassed to come up here in the first place, but none of this would be possible. Anthony wouldn't be here. To be honest, I wouldn't be here. And none of us would be here without this man. The contribution he's made to this club, you can see when you walk in. This hall was named after him. I'd like to introduce to you the man, without any of this would be possible, Mr. James Dack.
I really don't know what to say. In fact, there's not a lot of oxygen left to say anything, really. But I think the comical part of this was my wife had said to me at a pretty vanilla parent-teacher meeting with Mr. Kendall. We went in there and my wife sort of, not chastised, I wouldn't say chastised, but had sort of instructed me not to talk about real estate, PCYC, boxing, this, that and the other. And within about 3 or 4 minutes, Mr. Kendall had said to me, mate, I recognise you from somewhere. Aren't you from the PCYC? And, oh, I like boxing. You like boxing too. Didn't your brother box? And all this sort of stuff. And I just smiled at my wife and she looked at me and she said, oh, he's saying all the stuff that you weren't supposed to say. So I looked at him and we had a laugh about it. About 4 weeks later, I sent Mr. Kendall an email and I asked him would he be interested in participating in this. At that point, I hadn't had an opponent. And I sort of fished around. I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? And I was lying in bed one night and I actually had this epiphany about this whole night and I visualised it and I was compelled, I think, through my brother somehow to reach out to Adam Hooter, who's a beautiful man, and subsequently introduced me to another beautiful man, Anthony Mundine, and we went and had lunch and the two of them spoke about my brother at a depth and a level that I, basically, I was happy that two people loved him as much as I did, and I was very grateful for that. Adam, I wouldn't have met Anthony. Anthony, mate, you've been extraordinary. Ben Thompson from Boxer came down the other day and brought a whole truckload of stuff down here, and I dumped it in our garage, and I thought to myself, my expectations about this were sort of here. I had reasonably high personal expectations, but this is sort of up here. I think that the Scots College particularly and the PCYC is a very eclectic organisation. I think in this room, Tony Tahuro is a beautiful friend of mine. He's, was a client of the Matthew Talbot Hospital, was homeless at some point, and then you've got a billionaire. We all know who that is. But anyway, I know, Troy Ruggles. Anyway, folks, it was great to have you all under this roof, our home. When I was a kid, I used to walk down Cathedral Street to school with my brother and a whole bunch of other guys that are in here. And subsequently, two of the landmarks that we walked past were the Matthew Talbot Hostel and the PCYC. And the PCYC was the sort of place where hope began, and the hostel, unfortunately, where it was deteriorating. So it gave me a really good snapshot about life. This organisation, in terms of the one thing that it gave me the most courage to do was ask my wife to marry me. Because we come from two different worlds, and she's a beautiful person, she's well educated, and actually has lifted me out to a point where I'm sort of not quite comfortable, but I'm getting there, right? But we've had two beautiful kids, and they've been here, and all their friends, and what I wouldn't mind doing at this point in time, if it's okay with you guys, you want to hang around for about a minute and have a couple of more beers or whatever, I'd like to get everybody into the ring. All you kids from Scots College, please come in here. We'll all get a photo together. Tony, would you mind coming in, please, mate? Maud, let's get a snapshot. Mate, maybe not like that. Maybe not like that. I love you, brother. Okay. So, my wife in the ring, all the kids in the ring. We're going to get a big family photo together, right? So everyone huddle in. Maybe the kids crouch down at the front, right? Maybe the tall kids up the back. I'm not sure. Maybe the tall kids up the back. Let's make a scrum, guys. Let's all get around. This is a special. Johnny, I've never done this before, but I want to do it here, right? Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you. Just one more thing, if you wouldn't mind. Just one more thing. The thing about Scots College and this organisation particularly that I'd like to put my finger on is when Mr Kendall was... Guys, just one more minute. When Mr Kendall was training for this fight, and let me tell you, that was possibly one of the most courageous things I've ever seen from someone, to get in the ring with a 4-time world champion. And believe it or not, yeah, that's right. Believe it or not, Anthony was pulling his punches there, and it, you know, it looked magnificent, and Duncan was very, very brave, you know, honestly. So when I was up in the gym, I just want to highlight this, and this is a very important issue for me, and it's to do with manners and etiquette and the way you carry yourself. When Mr Kendall, guys, just at the back there, one sec. When Mr Kendall was training upstairs, it's very important. Kobe Ruggless was up there as well, and Mr Kendall was bending down to pick something up, and Kobe turned around. This is why when his parents asked me what they recommended their son to do in terms of they had many, many options, many, many schools, I suggested they come to Scots College. This kid turned around and he said, with only being in that school for 2 weeks, excuse me, sir, would you mind passing me my gloves? And I thought, I heard it, and I thought, that is poetry. And, you know, I think that we're all mentors to people, and we, you know, what we do ourselves is copied and mimicked by other people. And clearly, guys, this was a winning night for everybody, and I really appreciate you coming. Thank you very much.